All right, we are back. Episode 2, part 2. Hopefully it works this time. All right, looks like we are back. Sorry, folks, I just had to fix some video resolution stuff. All right, let's continue.
Normal channels because we are living in abnormal times, and the way we see this is that there is going to be a need for thousands of people and then millions to come into the streets and demand that the Trump-Pence regime must go. We did apply for a grant from Soros at one point, just a long time ago when I was doing more abortion rights and defending clinics. We actually did get a grant from them around, we started a thing called the National Day of Appreciation for Abortion.
So we were all on to George Soros because we found out that the heads of Antifa were getting money directly wired from this guy and his organizations. So he is inciting all of this craziness. So you got Black Lives Matter protests, right? Which he funds some of that too, but that's a different day. And you got Antifa that comes and makes it violent, and they're behind the looting, and not the Black Lives Matter folk. They're trying to do things the right way, like 99% of them. There's the 1% that's like radical, but that's every group of everything. There's 1% of Trump supporters that are crazy. So, you know, we started finding out, thanks to WikiLeaks and Alex Jones and all that kind of gobshite, that this guy, so then this is when Refuse Fascism just kind of like came out of the woodwork. And now you got this lady saying we're getting money from this bucket of scum. This old just
Contributing money is a huge look. We are not going to reach millions without millions. That's just straight up. We are not going to do it. We need millions of dollars to reach millions of people. You know, if you can get a meeting with either one of those, Sarah Taylor or Andy Z, you would be like, it would be a very important experience in your life.
We're trying to meet with Tom Steyer. That's
and what?
Right now, I don't know if we took the meeting today. We're meeting with his main advisor on impeachment. They kind of, I don't know who that is. It's somebody.
That's kind of a big deal. I mean, that's.
We're meeting. We've been talking to his assistant. He first said he was going to meet. Then he got busy. He made the announcement. Tom Steyer's been retweeting some of our stuff.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to want to. I think he has. This is only me speaking based on reading newspapers from New York. I think he has political ambitions.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always been the rumor he's going to run for governor.
That he may actually want to not be directly connected.
It's not just Soros and...
Look at this turtle. Look at this eugenicist, murdering madman. Oh, God, I hate him.
Steyer, who may have interest in groups like Refuse Fa and Antifa. It's also our friends in Silicon Valley.
Going to be meeting with the person who's donated. His money's not part of the 80,000, but he's donated over 50,000.
It's a lot of money, yo.
We have other people who donated 10,000. So actually, you're not first, but
exactly.
But you're not first, but you are first. And that if we could have right now $15,000, which is not very much money extra, this $15,000, what I've learned on this tour is we should have 3 of these tours going out to campuses. Right.
And that's it. That's just it. It's so easy to manipulate and hypnotize people my age because, you know, we want to be correct. We want to be right. We want to feel like we're making a change. We just have a natural hatred for old people because they just do things differently, right? I have discrepancies with boomers, you know. I hate that they watch Fox or CNN or AB. Like, take your pick, one of the 6 main news channels. And I'm not even pushing InfoWars. That's not what this is about. There are hundreds of the thousands to millions of independent journalists, thanks to the internet, that instead of following an agenda, all they do is take their cell phone and just film what's going on, like what C-SPAN used to do. So, like, That's just what it is. You infiltrate the campuses. They're going to be the future. You control the elections. You control your own policies, how the world works. It's just, and of course, they're all behind the campuses as well. Harvard's received donations from Epstein, Weinstein, George Soros, Democrats, Clintons, Republic, like Harvard, Yale, all the Ivy Leagues. You know, even like the lower downs, like Rutgers and all. They just got money. They're little evil, demonic little hands in everything. It's an attack.
I met with the Electronic Frontier Foundation. I think you're familiar with them. They're the main people for fighting around net neutrality and all this stuff.
The Frontier what?
The Electronic Frontier Foundation.
Okay.
It's the main organization that fights for internet privacy, net neutrality. It's a major organization. I met with them.
Net neutrality. Net neutrality is bull. They're banning everybody on one side and not the other. They're probably censoring me right now. They did to me on Instagram, where my messages weren't going through to people. And they're deleting my hashtags. They've been doing it to me for like 5 years. Net neutrality is garbage. Garbage.
Francisco, headquartered in San Francisco, and they're going to help us to get connected.
Our cities are on fire. With riots in the streets and elections at stake, everything seems so organized. It's not a surprise that presidential campaigns...
Right, and then there's people that call in, and they're saying, like, I'm at the protest, and there's, like, every, like, 5 or 10 people, there's a guy that's wearing the same exact thing, and he's pretending to be, like, one of us, and he's holding his sidearm. It's in the documents. It's known military, undercover police, or Antifa, or what the Refuse FA, whatever the heck their name is. It's all coordinated to drive us apart. You want to get your point across, you don't beat people.
might get involved.
P.Z. Myers, Cornel West, Arturo O'Farrell. I mean, these are major figures in the arts and sciences who are definitely not revolutionaries, okay? And you'll see there's people, Hillary campaign people work with Refuse Fascism, you know, because they see the danger. You have to create the kind of demand from below.
For what?
The kind of demand from below that
Oh, right.
the Trump-Pence regime must go.
Yeah.
Where there's
The abolition.
Yeah, where there's the kind of situation that did exist in South Korea, where the society itself was both a serious crisis in that, just imagine if, let's put millions aside for a second, that there was 10 to 50,000 people demonstrating in those 5 cities, which if they were demonstrating there, I can tell you from history, it would be spreading like wildfire from storming. That number of people who were protesting.
He's right. It's in the history books too. Mao did it. Hitler did it. Stalin did it.
You know, at first maybe every week, and then every 3 days, and then every other day, where people were coming after work and the streets were flooded every night from 5 o'clock till 1 o'clock in the morning, and there was probably among younger people there'd be a few thousand who stayed overnight. And this was happening in Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York. And this at a certain point dominates the national news. This is just, the cities are in a certain sense non-violent demonstrations, but that's still it's a very disruptive force. That has international repercussions. Look at what's happening in the U.S.
Look at that quote. And it's happening. It's literally happening. This virus, we'll get into that another time, but this is like they're planning on just taking over everything we do. Taxes, schools, the economy, the tracking chips, the vaccines. It's one giant, just global elite. Never mind. I don't even know if anyone cares. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, there you go. Proof that this ugly. Look at this. Look at how. Imagine waking up to. How are you not dead yet? Ugh. Probably smells like moldy cheese. Ugh. think there was one more.
Hello everyone, James O'Keefe, Project Veritas here in downtown Los Angeles. Just got out of seeing Death of a Nation, Dinesh D'Souza's new movie. Very powerful movie. One scene struck me, a particular scene about a young German woman who resisted Adolf Hitler, faced the guillotine for handing out pamphlets, speaking truth to power. That scene really struck me. But there were two scenes in this movie featuring Project Veritas undercover recordings inside of Antifa and Refuse Fascism. Dinesh flashed the scenes on the screen, but now we show you both two videos playing audio and video undercover inside Refuse Fascism and Antifa. Check it out.
If you get a good liver or kidney shot, it's pretty much cooked.
This is Antifa, an instructor training to disable people, right? That's like the last resort of self-defense. I would never go for a kill unless my life was in absolute danger. They're just advocating walk up, get them in the liver, gouge their eyes out, cripple them, kidney shots. And, like, that's what wrestlers and boxers and UFC fighters and karate people, if anyone's ever taken even half a blow to the kidney, you are down on the ground, you can't move. And there's videos, they practice this, man. It's disgusting.
You're going to be doubled over in a lot of pain. If you break one of the floating ribs, which are small right down here, those are also very painful. It's hard to move after that. It's hard to catch your breath. So one good body shot could potentially give you all the time in the world to run away while they're doubled over in pain. Right. Or
really put a beating on them after that. So after they cripple you, get you down, you can't breathe, then they're going to beat you. These aren't real humans. A real human wouldn't do that to someone. It's disgusting.
Put a beating on them after that if you really don't like the person.
They're all just laughing.
I want to, in the space, reframe the idea of self-defense as not simply you're being acted
It's not self-defense. Watch any video. It's not self-defense.
upon by an aggressor, but it's a kind of a decision you make to fight back. In a lot of ways to say, I'm human and I occupy this space and I'll not be with my nose, side of my head. If I come into you, you could definitely do it for sure. But like from here and just feel like.
And then you want to follow it up with something else.
Yeah. So if that does knock them out, then the nose, the eyes, poke the eyes at the end of the day. Absolutely. Yeah.
We're trying to meet with Tom Steyer. That's
And what
We already saw this. It's complete lawlessness. It's like absolutely disgusting. And they've murdered people. It's happened, bud. It's so annoying. It's so frustrating. Let's look at they mentioned Death of a Nation. Let's talk about that for a bit. I use DuckDuckGo because Google's biased. That's another topic for another day. Again, sorry for the weird box. Still working on it. Sue me. Oh, wow. Are we actually allowed to watch it? I doubt it. We'll go to their website. This was actually a really great film. Highly recommend it. We're not going to watch it because I don't know with Facebook's copyright stuff if I'm allowed to do that. But we will investigate that. Oh, wow. What's up, Emily? This lady's upside down. Well, that's Dakota. That's because the body cam footage, sometimes it's just the way the button, it's just the easier way to hide it. Imagine beating up a cripple. Yeah, Emily, it's disgusting. They're training these people to go in the crowds. So not, in it. Well, I mean, not cripple them as in like sever their spinal, but like cripple them as in like make like you can't move. If you get hit in the kidney or like the guy said, the ribs. This is very distracting. If you, Dakota, if I, were to hit you really good in the kidney, you're on the ground. You can't move. After, an hour, it's like getting kicked in the, your junk. You become, immobile. And so, yes, they're training them to, instead of basic punches to the face, like real self-defense moves, which it's not self-defense, they're attacking first. You can just literally YouTube it. Anyways, to then continue beating them. And it's happened. They literally killed a guy during these George Floyd protests like a week and a half ago. That video of the blue guy that fell down after he literally fell down and was knocked out cold. He was literally on the ground, knocked out cold, and then they just kept kicking his face, He died in the hospital. Yep. No one was arrested for it. You know, God forbid. And yeah, so their goal is hide their face so that they can't get arrested. And just anyone that's against, like, Black Lives Matter, anyone that's for Trump, it's just attack mode. Like evil little just Jekylls. Like, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Well, we can talk about it more, but it's, yeah. All right. Just checking Facebook, make sure. All right, so this is the Death of a Nation website. Where the heck is my mouse? I just want to see if there's just a... All right, yeah, we'll watch the trailer. I'm sure that's okay.
Lincoln was elected to unite a country and stop slavery. Democrats smeared him, went to war against him, assassinated him. Now their target is Trump. They say he's a racist, a fascist. But who are the real racists and fascists? A nation dies, but its people are not free. It's now up to us to save America a second time.
I thought there would be less... That was more of like a Peacock. Like, that was all show, but they didn't give us the meat. Yeah. So it's a cool film. It's on YouTube. You can check it out. Yeah. All right. So back to Project Veritas. I want to do the Facebook story. That's Google. Where's the They just released a huge like Facebook thing. I guess we're gonna have to type it in. Y'all are gonna love this, man. Oh, here we go. There's 3 of them, though. There we go. Yeah. All right. Facebook content moderator. Wait, also, we got to talk about this. Sorry. I just keep checking the stream computer to make sure, like, everything's good. We got to talk about this. The person in charge of the you know, like, anything involving COVID and the CDC gets, like, fact-checked, and, like, they're shutting down everything that the doctors and nurses are saying because it goes against the CDC and the elite's agenda and all that. The person in charge of the disease fact-checking is... Oh, man. I forgot that... See, I, like, process so much information. Give me 5 seconds. That she's involved with, right. Yo. The chick that was in charge of all the corona stuff on social media is an employee at the Wuhan lab that it came from. Look it up. Like, total, just like, no one cares. Just let it happen. Orange man bad. It's disgusting. All right, Facebook content moderator. Facebook's a joke. I hate Facebook. Zuck, where's the camera? I know you're listening to me. If someone is wearing a MAGA hat, I am going to delete them for terrorism. Sounds pretty fascist. Project Veritas today released one of the most damning undercover investigation reports. This time, insiders used hidden cameras to document rampant censorship occurring at social media giant Facebook. Y'all are gonna love, and I can guarantee you the stream's gonna get shut down.
It's simple. As you say, be brave. I am more brave than I am scared of any trouble that anybody could give me for breaking some stupid NDA. I think the truth is more powerful than any NDA. To stick up for the voice of the people.
Facebook.
Shadow bans.
Yeah.
Facebook's notorious for it, and they say they don't, but it's clear that people's content don't comes up because it's been defiltered off the queue.
It's a very progressive company who's very anti-MAGA.
If you see a conservative post, you just get rid of it, right?
I don't give a
This is like, it's like when the Nazis burned all the books in the libraries, yo. Like, ugh, right there. It's right in front of you. Right there. How is Facebook biased? Right there. There you go. One of the content moderators just goes, I don't care if a conservative post gets reported, I'm deleting it. That's fascism. Where's Antifa for this? It's all an agenda. Pay attention.
I'll delete it.
Zach McElroy came to Project Veritas because of what he saw at his job at Facebook in Tampa, Florida. He saw and filmed evidence of structural and cultural bias inside Facebook discriminating against Republicans and conservatives. McElroy's story raises serious doubts about the under oath testimony of Facebook's CEO Mark Zuckerberg to Congress.
Where am I? We're gonna talk about this alien, this little reptilian shill lizard. Why is it that like 99% of people that are rich and have their hands involved in a lot of things just don't look like normal humans? I'm not saying he's a reptile. I don't believe in that theory. But I'm just like, it's just like completely just lack of like just soul. Like he lost his will to live. It's like when you see people in the hospital and they start losing skin color, and it's like, it's pathetic. And all his interviews, he's like, yes, Facebook's a very honest to God company, and I do too. It's like, and then he's just got that zombie look of just like a kid sitting in front of a TV all day.
Where he claimed Facebook has no political bias. What percentage of the flagged posts in the civic harassment queue, as it's called, were Republican conservative?
I saw a stark contrast between Republicans versus Democrats in that queue. I saw upwards of 75 to 80% of the posts in that queue were from Republican pages, politicians, journalists, and pages that supported the president or supported conservatives.
What does that tell you about Facebook/Cognizant's algorithm here?
Well, certainly the algorithm is not human, but it had to be made by a human. So for 75 to 80% of the posts to be targeting Republicans and conservatives, you can...
And that goes back to Zuckerberg. When you hire coders for a company, you're in direct talk with the CEO on what he wants.
Say it was a bot, but somebody had to design that algorithm. So really, somebody at Facebook.
Some people on Capitol Hill have expressed interest in this ratio that you speak of. Are you willing to potentially testify under oath that three-quarters of the posts that you saw flagged were in one political direction?
To the best of my knowledge and ability, yes. To me, censorship online is one of the biggest issues facing us in the lead up to the 2020 election.
Yep.
Well, insofar as I was not somebody who was working behind the scenes on policy, but rather as someone who was enforcing policy, I saw everybody around me, and I saw myself, and I did a little bit of comparing, and I thought, you know, there really are not very many conservatives here. And because there are not very many conservatives, I really don't think there are very many people sticking up for the voice of conservatives at a company that handles all the flow of conversations, basically a large portion of the discourse online. And we are essentially in charge of what gets said and what gets stifled.
You mentioned the election, and can talk a little bit more about your concerns as it pertains to Facebook meddling or being involved in the 2020 election.
Well, we know publicly, and as someone even before I started working there, we've seen plenty of statements from Mark Zuckerberg publicly about how they don't want to meddle in the election. They want to give everybody a free, a platform for everybody to speak freely.
We're going to watch that. We're going to watch his testimony to Congress. That man is a lying sack of dog.
But
not this man, Zuckerberg.
We know that privately they have very different opinions, and we've seen that with the previous Facebook story that you guys published. And I had no doubt that what he said publicly is not what he means to do privately.
So let's go to the Trump cartoon, this one here. Is this something that you saw at your tenure?
Yes, I actually saw this image a lot.
Tell me about this.
Well, this is an image, I believe it's in an art museum in Portland. They put this up as a bit of a political...
This is a Class E felony posting something like this. Watch, my stream's going to get banned because someone's going to report it for, a threat on Trump. I love Trump. I don't like some presidents. I don't want to kill them. I wouldn't advocate for killing anyone, except for pedophiles. And this, I saw this everywhere, and I would report it. Oh, it doesn't go against our community guidelines. But then I share a thing that's a video of a doctor saying that the CDC is possibly lying on the death certificates, and I had funeral directors calling in saying, yeah, this guy got mauled by a truck. They said he died from COVID, and it gets taken down because it's a violation of community standards. It's completely backwards. And this was before Zuckerberg testified in Congress.
Statement, and Facebook actually reacted to this, at least internally. They gave us a memo saying that this would not violate for violence and incitement or anything else, really. And so we were told to leave this image up as long as it didn't say, oh, I'm going to actually kill Donald Trump or something like that.
So you just told us about this one where they allowed it to stay up. They think that this cartoon with Elmer Fudd has high severity violence and incitement, but this does not. How do you reconcile that as a Facebook cognizant insider?
Well, frankly, I don't. There's no difference between the two. There's no...
They banned the one on the right and not the one on the left.
Logical reason why the determined reaction to those two posts would be different. They should be the same.
This is was this something that you took a screenshot of?
Yes, it is.
Talk to me about what I'm looking at here with Don Lemon.
This was a memo given to moderators in, looks like, November 2018. They made an exception for content around involving...
Yeah, Don Lemon called white people terrorists, and that was okay, but,
A thing that Don Lemon said on CNN around the time.
He said, it says, CNN host Don Lemon recently said white men are, quote, the biggest terror threat in this country, unquote. This is implying that white men are terrorists and so would typically violate this dehumanizing speech, they call it. As this is a newsworthy event, Facebook's content policy team is allowing a narrow exception for this content on the platform. Why would they do that?
Well, it's hard to say. They would like to say that this was newsworthy, but frankly, if they say that this is newsworthy, that means that they can say anything they want is newsworthy. Well, certainly there is obviously an intention on Facebook's part to have the back of people like CNN and hosts like Don Lemon.
Also flagged in the queue were comments from unknown conservatives about Project Veritas videos. And in this case, it was a post regarding the Project Veritas, ABC, Epstein, Amy Robach, Hot Mike.
We watched that in episode 1, so if you want to go back on my videos on my timeline, we watched that ABC video.
Tape. Why did the algorithm flag this at all?
I don't know why the algorithm would have flagged this. I don't know why any bot would have chosen to select Project Veritas's page on Instagram or Facebook to monitor, basically.
Mm-hmm. And in this post, it appears to be a post featuring a comment made by Infidel, who is a verified Instagram political commentator, and the typical liberal, who's another Instagram verified commentator. And in this Infidel post, it reads, "Thankfully, There are honorable journalists like Project Veritas willing to hunt for and tell the truth. No matter what, the truth will prevail. Oh, and Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yes.
Why is this being flagged?
Well, frankly, there's no reason that this should be flagged.
Are these the only posts you saw flagged with Project Veritas, the Amy Robach tapes?
I saw that one. I think I may have seen one other one that I believe I recorded. If I didn't, then I must be mistaken. But yes, I've seen Project Veritas in that queue.
Will they flag us more after this expose comes out?
I predict they will. Let me run something by you. You know that civic harassment queue that we've been in lately?
Yeah.
Is it just me, or is it like all Republicans in there?
It's all Republicans. But a lot of it comes off of Trump's page specifically.
Yeah, because I see like a Bernie post, and then I'll see like 5 Trump posts in a row.
Yeah, it looks straight Republican related. Like, I love our president. Why are we getting this?
Steve Grimmett is a content moderator for Facebook in Austin, Texas.
It's a very progressive company who's very anti-MAGA.
I know that Facebook does have a Trump rule where they still allow him on the platform, even though he says things that if anyone else said it.
And that's the fortunate thing is, even if he does say something, if it gets repeated, we can at least get the average Joe. But it goes back to our discussion earlier. It's hard when you've got the top person in the country. That's his MO. But you know, Facebook's done a lot better job of at least policing the mimickers and the mockingbirds that come after Trump.
I assume your coworkers were deleting a lot of Trump.
Nobody likes Trump on the national side.
You don't leave any go, do you? Like, if you see a conservative post, you just get rid of it, right? Right.
I don't give no I'll delete it.
This is like bombshell level. Zuckerberg lied under oath. Nothing. It gets worse. It gets worse.
Good.
And they'll get salty. It's mostly
like even if it's not, even if it's in policy, like you're deleting that, right?
Yeah, I don't give no. It's like 1 week left. What are they gonna do? Like,
right?
Send me to.
What are they gonna do? Oh, holier than thou.
Whack all the conservative posts and just gone, right?
It's the 3rd one in a row. Oh, you just whack conservative posts, no matter, even if it doesn't violate community standards. Yeah. It's like zombies. Like all hail Zuckerberg. Screw God and screw conservatism. Our opinion's the only one that matters.
So honestly, like every time, like half the time when I delete people for like pro-Trump, I'm like, you should be on a watch list, dude.
Yeah. Seriously.
Trump supporters like to throw around like Trump derangement syndrome as like, you know, liberals being crazy. I like think of it as actually you're the one that has Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, you're losing your goddamn mind as soon as, because they're just like, oh, Trump 2020.
Yeah.
And it's like, that sounds a little more deranged to me when you end every argument than that.
Like even like hashtag MAGA or hashtag MAGA 2020.
It's political. It stays out.
Yeah, but not for you.
No. Oh no.
Deleted.
Yeah.
So it's like delete any like positive Trump supporter stuff. But if it makes them look bad,
You have to take it down, but I leave it up.
you leave it up.
Right, we're told to take it down, but I leave it up because screw Trump, and I'm allowed to just violate the First Amendment with over half the country on this garbage website.
So if you see something that's not supposed to be up, it's probably me.
So you've deleted just hashtag MAGA?
Yeah.
Like the post gone?
It's common sense.
It's like you, like in the office. Who else to proactively delete?
Well, I hang out with a lot of people because it's like they'll come up to me and they'll be like, "Post me," and then when I do, it's like, you set yourself up. But there's Marcella. I hang out a lot with her. Well, there's like other Asian guys that I hang out there. Kevin, who's like the midget that I harass about his height. And then there's like Trug, Gabe, Cassie, Jen. Yeah, that's it. Oh, Dante, Skylar, Shania.
Those are all like the
Yeah,
resistors.
the people that I hang out with.
Yeah. Those are, and they all do the same thing as you, content moderators.
Yep, screw Trump. Just delete it no matter what.
Or like take your own stance and say,
say we're just deleting whatever, all the Trump posts.
There's only probably like 16 of us.
And you guys, like, you just delete everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
16 in the morning.
I don't believe in pushing the left agenda.
Yeah, and that's what Facebook.
The content moderator just admitted that Facebook pushes a one-sided political bias. It's so disgusting. And I would be just as mad if they were doing it the other way around, trust me. I'm not like one of those, Trump-humping people. Like, if you build a platform that you should only be deleting posts that actually violate the community standards, which we see these mungos at Facebook, Zuck, aren't doing.
How?
By allowing a lot of stuff that are very far left to be still on the platform. Like, for example, like racial stuff.
Okay.
You could call me white trash based on me being white, but I can't. But if you say Asian trash, black trash, brown trash, we got to delete stuff like that.
Right.
So they're very, they'll allow certain things, but not for others where you would think something could be. And so that's just, one example. And they're very, like, politically, it's like you could say anything you want except kill for someone on the right.
Okay.
But if it's someone on the left, then it's about their race. That's up in, like, governmental things. You have to take that down for hate speech.
Yeah, and then she had the MAGA hat on or something. You'll delete all of them.
And they're just laughing about it like it's some, like, Girl Scout, cookie selling table outside of a dollar store. Like, bye. I'll just delete Republicans, screw you guys. And then when you confront this about it, I'm just gonna giggle because I'm protected.
Yeah.
Happens to me every day.
Don't do that, though.
If someone wears a MAGA hat, I'm gonna delete it for terrorism.
Yeah. You just have to, like, go hard that day. It's just, like, get into work early. Like I'm on a mission. Like, make up for the last year.
None of these people were fired, by the way. They probably got promotions.
I think probably.
Oh, really?
But if they attack, like, Bernie or something, maybe I'll take that. Yeah, I can take that.
Like, what
Like,
type
if
of
they just
attack?
say, like, Bernie is this and this, and he doesn't believe in that, and he's just like this or whatever, I'll just take it down.
It's like, think about the amount of impact that you could have if you remove those types of posts.
Yeah. I mean, like, once...
The hateful.
Yeah. That's true. I'd rather remove Trump posts than Bernie posts, though, because I feel like people just say, oh, I don't like Bernie, or Bernie's a communist. Like, I don't really think that would impact anything, but if a Trump post was to come up and it was promoting Trump and I could take that down, then I feel like that would be good.
You're darn right it would be impactful. It's election meddling. Look at this smirking jerk.
The actions of the content moderators may not be conclusive evidence of structural bias at Facebook, but it certainly speaks to the anti-conservative culture that McElroy says is pervasive.
Well, it's very simple. You've got a formula. You've got a workplace full of mostly liberal-leaning Democrats, leftists, essentially, and they are being put in charge of moderating the entire public discourse. Facebook and Instagram are very large platforms, one of the biggest. And our voices are in the hands of people who are almost entirely left-leaning and not right-leaning or otherwise unbiased. And in speaking with a lot of them, I found that they are not at all shy to exercise their political will in deleting or leaving up content, whether or not they're allowed to, or whether or not they'll get penalized for it, especially when they've got nothing to lose. That is to say, they're getting laid off.
That's hard. Yeah. What if I know? I would. I come up with some good ass excuse sometimes where they like let me slide with the plan.
No one cares. No one cares. They're just deleting everything they want. I know a lot of people, you know, always going back to politics, but hey, fighting the good fight. I know a lot of people are taking down, you know, Trump posts.
Stuff. Oh yeah, I knew that too. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna hold you accountable for taking it down. We have like 30 minutes left. I'm like, what do you want me to do?
It's for the better.
Yeah, hell yeah. You gotta get the Cheeto out of office.
I'm thinking, delete like every Donald Trump post I see.
Can you imagine? Can you just imagine for a second if this went the other way? It would be front page news everywhere, but it's not because the media is for it. Everyone in charge is for this. It's disgusting.
On the timeline.
Oh, okay, I thought I was the only one.
Why not? You think?
Why not? See, this is a man thing. I thought I was the only one doing it, okay?
You're doing it?
I thought I was the only one doing it.
But I'll be here.
I just feel
Spite.
revenge for all the
I mean, what you think they gonna audit you? Who cares?
Oh, who knows? I don't know, but I just feel like I'm doing something.
The problem, I think, again, it's globally, they want part of them in this picture, in this global picture. Therefore, Christians are always, you can't believe how much Jesus stuff that has been attacked over and over and over again against Jesus or any type of Christianity. You could blaspheme Jesus as much as you want on Facebook, but if you go against somebody that's wearing one of those Islamic hats and thinking that they're going to blow themselves up, well, that's
Exactly. Again, not pushing Jesus on anyone, not pushing Christianity on anyone, but you got to be fair. It's, oh my goodness gracious.
Hate speech. But if there's anything over here
And then every time I say this, it's like, well, Jesus isn't real, so who cares? Well, if you're an atheist, you don't think Buddha's real. The amount of just ridiculousness that I have to go through is just appalling.
in name of Christian, like, shares a Bible verse or just, says this, that may appear to go against homosexuality. Well, that's hate speech. That's, this and that. That's not allowed.
It's pretty clear that Facebook has a political agenda. And it's also clear that if you're not in line with that, you're less likely to be heard.
Do you think if it was like a pro-Trump whistleblower that like they would protect him to the same level? No, right?
I think they're very biased with who they protect.
At a certain extent, like the bias. Like you've seen the Twitter shadow banning. So I wonder if you've seen anything at Facebook.
Shadow bans.
Yeah.
Facebook's notorious for it, and they say they don't, but it's clear that people's content don't come up because it's been defiltered off the queue.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's crazy.
They're doing something, man. They're just trying to pretend like they're not.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely being done. I don't know if there's any plans to make it more, to make it a true shadow ban. Like, you post these things, nobody can see your, you're not banned, but nobody can see it.
So a lot of things that we have to look out for are the dog whistles, are the I guess the content coming from places that is a haven for white nationalism.
So there's an insider watching this program and looking at what you did and working inside of whatever company they're working. Maybe it's Google, maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's, CNN. What is your message to those people who have not yet made the decision to do what you've done?
I would say you can do it too. I would say it's not as impossible as you think.
McElroy signed non-disclosure agreements when he started and ended his employment at Facebook Cognizant. Are you afraid?
I think the truth is more powerful than any NDA.
Facebook needs to be transparent about their political bias, both institutional and cultural. If you're on the inside of a big tech company and see issues that need to be exposed, come to us. We will have your back. Be brave, do something.
All right, so mom's texted me, folks. It's dinner time. So we're going to end this one a bit earlier than expected. Tomorrow I'm probably going to go live again, a little bit earlier and for a little bit longer. I was at the beach today and, exercising and all that. My nose is huge. My God. So yeah, we're going to watch Zuckerberg's testimony to Congress and then revisit this and just be like, yo, Facebook, you're messing up, man. You're messing up big time. You're silencing us, and it's a violation of free speech. It's election meddling. It's a whole... Any other company tries to do this, they get shut down. But no, Zuckerberg's friends with Epstein. Zuckerberg is friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. Zuckerberg is friends with the Clintons. Zuckerberg is friends with George Soros. Zuckerberg has connections to China. The list goes on, folks. Anyways, it pisses me off. It really does. All right, so thanks again for tuning in. Tech-wise, we're still working some stuff out. I say we, but this is a one-man operation here at Piss Off. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm saving all these videos. They're gonna eventually go on YouTube, Twitter, possibly Instagram. I am gonna make my own website, but for now, we're just gonna be sticking with Facebook. If you got any questions or you want me to talk about anything specific, DM me, text me, leave a comment under this. As long as if they don't get deleted by Facebook, these are staying up. Yeah, man, story. That's the Crack Durkin. I'm John Maneri. This is Piss Off.